discuss the part 31 of the NEET PG important questions, and today we'll discuss about the questions of the topic forearm. So first try to answer the question first of all by yourself. All the muscles of the flexure compartment of the forearm are supplied by median nerve except for the flexure carpi ulnaris and the medial half of the flexure deuterum profundus muscle, which is supplied by the ulnar nerve. Which nerve passes between the humeral and the ulnar heads of the pronatories? So it is the median nerve. Radial artery passes in the lower forearm between the tendons of flexure carpi radialis and the brachioradialis muscle. Flexure carpi radialis runs through the groove on which carpal bone? It runs through the groove on the trapezium bone. Flexure carpi radialis is inserted at the base of the second and the third metacarpal bones. Abduction at the wrist joint is caused by flexure carpi radialis, extensor carpi radialis longus and the extensor carpi radialis brevis muscle. Palmaris longus muscle is inserted in palmar aponeurosis. What is palmar aponeurosis? Palmar aponeurosis is the distal degenerated part of the palmaris longus muscle. How is median nerve related to the palmaris longus tendon near the wrist? So the median nerve projects deep and lateral to the palmaris longus tendon near the wrist. Median nerve lies in the interval between which muscle in the forearm? So median nerve lies in the interval between the flexure carpi radialis and the palmaris longus muscle in the forearm. Which structures passes deep to the tendinous arch of the flexure carpi ulnaris? So ulnar nerve and the posterior ulnar recurrent artery. Now what is the insertion of the flexure carpi ulnaris? So it is inserted at the pisiform bone, hook of Hammett and the base of the fifth metacarpal via the pisometacarpal ligament. At the wrist joint, ulnar nerve and the vessels are lateral to the tendon of flexure carpi ulnaris. Subrimis muscle is flexure deuterum superficialis. Which structures passes deep to the fibrous arch between the two heads of the flexure deuterum superficialis? So median nerve and the ulnar artery. Median nerve and ulnar artery. Now what is the action of the flexure deuterum superficialis? So this muscle causes the flexion of the middle phalanx at the proximal interphalangeal joint. On prolonged contraction, FDS muscle causes flexion of the middle phalanx at the proximal interphalangeal joint, flexion of the proximal phalanx at the metacarpophalangeal joint, and also flexion at the radiocarpal joint. Flexure pollicis longus is what kind of muscle? It is unipinnate muscle. Flexure pollicis longus is inserted at base of distal phalanx of the thumb. Flexure pollicis longus is supplied by which nerve? By the anterior interosseous nerve. What is the action of the flexure pollicis longus? So this muscle causes the flexion of the thumb. So it is a flexure of thumb. Which is the bulkiest muscle of the forearm? It is the flexure deuterum profundus. Flexure deuterum profundus is supplied by which nerve? It is supplied by the ulnar nerve and the anterior interosseous nerve. What is the action of the flexure deuterum profundus? So it causes the flexion of the distal phalanx at the distal interphalangeal joint. On prolonged contraction, FDP muscle causes the flexion of the middle phalanx at the proximal interphalangeal joint, flexion of the proximal phalanx at the metacarpophalangeal joint, and the flexion at the radiocarpal joint. Main blood supply of the forearm is from which artery? From the branches from common interosseous artery. Radial artery arises at the level of the neck of radius bone as a branch of the brachial artery in the coiled fossa just medial to the tendon of the biceps brachii. Nutrient artery to the ulna is given by anterior interosseous artery. Nutrient artery to the radius is given by anterior interosseous artery. Which is the largest branch of the ulnar artery? It is the common interosseous artery. Which superficial extensor muscle of the forearm do not take origin from the common extensor origin? So it is the brachioradialis, extensor carpi radialis longus, and the anconeus muscle. What is the location of the median nerve in the cuboidal fossa? So it is medial to the brachial artery and the biceps tendon, and it rests on the brachialis muscle. Which muscle of the extensor compartment of the forearm are not supplied with the posterior interosseous nerve? So they are brachioradialis muscle, extensor carpi radialis longus, and the anconeus muscle. Brachioradialis muscle is inserted at striate process of the radius. Brachioradialis is supplied by which nerve? Radial nerve. What is the action of the brachioradialis muscle? So they causes a flexion at the elbow joint. So they are the flexure at elbow joint. What are the spurt muscle? Spurt muscle is that skeletal muscle which has its origin at some distance from the joint, okay, and has its origin near the joint, okay. And so what happens? It directs the greater part of its force across the bone rather than along it, and it provides the force that acts tangentially to the curve transverse by the bone during the movement. Extensor carpi radialis longus passes lateral to which tubercle? So ECRL passes lateral to the Lister's tubercle. Which muscle remains in the floor of the anatomical snuff box? Extensor carpi radialis longus and the extensor carpi radialis brevis muscle. Muscular branches to the pronate teres are generally given proximal to which joint? To the elbow joint. Insertion of the extensor carpi radialis longus muscle is at base of the second metacarpal bone. Extensor carpi radialis brevis is inserted at base of second and third metacarpal bone. What are the boundaries of the anatomical snuff box? So as you can see over here, this is the anatomical snuff box, okay, and medially it is actually bounded by the tendon of extensor pollicis longus muscle, or the tendon of extensor pollicis longus, okay, and laterally there is tendon of the extensor pollicis brevis, okay, and also there is tendon of the abductor pollicis longus muscle. So medially there is tendon of the extensor pollicis longus, and laterally there is tendon of the extensor pollicis brevis and abductor pollicis longus tendon. Now, what are the contents of the anatomical snuff box? So, anatomical snuff box has its main contents as the radial artery, a branch of radial nerve, and the cephalic vein. So, three things: radial artery, branch of radial nerve, and the cephalic vein are the contents of the anatomical snuff box. Now, floor of the anatomical snuff box is formed by which bones? By the scaphoid, striate process of the radius, trapezium, and the base of first metacarpal bone. Roof of the anatomical snuff box is formed by skin, superficial fascia, cephalic vein fascia. Superficial branch of the radial nerve crosses the cephalic vein over here. What are the attachments of the extensor retinaculum? So laterally it is attached to the anterior border of the radius above the striate process, and medially it is attached to the pisiform and the triquetral carpal bones. How many osseofacial tunnels for how many tendons are there in the extensor retinaculum? So there are 6 osseofacial tunnels for the passage of 9 tendons in the extensor retinaculum. Now which structures passes through the lateral to the medial compartment in the extensor retinaculum? So from the first compartment there is abductor pollicis longus and extensor pollicis brevis tendon. In the second compartment there is extensor carpi radialis longus and the brevis tendon. In the third compartment there is extensor pollicis longus tendon. In the fourth compartment there is extensor indicis tendon, extensor digitorum tendon, anterior interosseous artery, and the posterior interosseous nerve. In the fifth compartment there is extensor dieti minimi tendon, and the sixth compartment there is extensor carpi ulnaris tendon. So today up till here, we'll discuss about the further important notes and questions of further important topics in our next video. Thank you so much.